Have you ever pondered how an atheist, without the guidance of religious texts, establishes their moral compass? This question may seem simple, but it opens the door to an expansive and rich exploration of moral philosophy. Our journey today takes us into the heart of this question as we delve deep into the ethical systems of both atheists and religious individuals. We'll begin by unpacking the concept of morality. What is it? How does it influence our actions, our choices, our very lives? And then, ethics. How does this philosophical discipline guide us in distinguishing right from wrong, good from bad? We aim to explore these questions without bias, presenting an honest and thorough comparison of the ethical systems of atheists and their religious counterparts. You might be surprised by what we discover along the way. Intriguing, isn't it? So let's delve into this fascinating topic and shed some light on how atheists and religious individuals form their ethical systems. Religions throughout history have provided a moral framework for their followers. This moral compass often comes in the form of sacred texts, scriptures, and commandments. These texts serve as a guide, outlining what is considered right and wrong, good and evil. Take, for instance, the 10 Commandments in Christianity, which provide explicit directives on how one should live. They prohibit actions such as murder and theft, while encouraging behaviors like honoring one's parents. Or consider the 5 pillars of Islam, which instruct Muslims on the fundamental practices of their faith, including charity and prayer. Then there's the eightfold path of Buddhism, guiding adherents on a path of right understanding, right thought, right speech, and so on, to achieve a state of enlightenment. These religious ethics, as you may notice, are often absolute. They are derived from divine commandments and are considered by their followers to be unchanging and universal. They are not subject to the whims of societal changes or individual interpretations. The moral code is clear and definitive, leaving little room for ambiguity or subjectivity. This absolutism, however, doesn't mean that these ethical systems are rigid or lack nuance. Quite the contrary. Within these broad guidelines, there's a wealth of interpretation and discussion. Scholars and believers alike delve into these sacred texts, extracting deeper meanings and understanding how these principles apply to their lives in a modern context. In essence, these religious ethical systems provide a roadmap to morality. They offer a blueprint for ethical behavior, a set of rules to navigate the complex world of human interactions and decisions. And while the specifics may vary between religions, the overarching aim is the same: to lead a righteous and virtuous life. Religion, therefore, serves as a guiding light for its followers, offering a pre-established ethical framework. But what about those without such a guide? Atheists, without a religious text to guide them, form their ethical systems in a different manner. To understand this, let's delve into the way atheists approach ethics. Central to atheistic ethics is the power of reason. Atheists often see morality as something that can be discovered and understood through rational thought and logical examination. This makes sense if we think about it, as they don't believe in a divine entity who has handed down moral laws, so they need to figure it out for themselves. They ask questions like, what actions will lead to the greatest happiness for the greatest number of people? Or what is fair in this particular situation? The answers to these questions form the basis of their ethical system. Next, we have empathy, a universal human trait that doesn't rely on any religious belief. Empathy allows us to understand and share the feelings of others, to put ourselves in their shoes. Atheists often use empathy as a guiding principle in their ethical decisions. If an action would cause unnecessary harm or suffering to another person, it's likely to be seen as unethical. Then there is the social contract theory. This idea, which has been around since the time of philosophers like Thomas Hobbes and John Locke, posits that individuals have mutual obligations to each other. We agree not to harm each other or infringe upon each other's rights, and in return, we expect the same consideration. Atheists often see this social contract as a key part of their ethical system. It's about mutual respect, fairness, and cooperation. What you may notice about atheistic ethics is that they're often more flexible and situational than religious ethics. They're not bound by divine commandments that must be followed regardless of context. Instead, they can adapt and evolve based on new information, societal changes, or unique circumstances. This flexibility allows for a more nuanced approach to ethical dilemmas. And so atheists construct their ethical systems based on reason, empathy, and social considerations, rather than divine decrees. We've explored how both religious individuals and atheists form their ethical systems. Now let's compare and contrast these approaches. First off, we see that religious ethics are often rooted in a divine command theory. This implies that moral standards are dictated by a divine being. And these commandments form the basis of their ethical system. On the contrary, atheists generally derive their ethics from humanistic principles like empathy, compassion, and a shared humanity. There's no divine command, but there's a common understanding that our actions impact others, and this consciousness guides their ethical decisions. Similarities between the two systems are not to be overlooked. Both religious and atheistic ethics stress the importance of doing good and avoiding harm. They both uphold values like honesty, respect, and kindness. It's intriguing to see that while the sources of these ethics differ, the end goal is often the same, promoting harmony and goodwill among humans. However, the reliance on a divine being for moral guidance can be seen as a strength and a weakness for religious ethics. It's a strength because it provides a clear, unambiguous guide for right and wrong. Yet it can be a weakness as it may discourage independent moral reasoning. Atheistic ethics, on the other hand, encourages such reasoning, but without a universal standard, there can be a risk of moral relativism, where standards of right and wrong can vary greatly among individuals. Moreover, religious ethics often promise rewards or punishments in an afterlife, which can be a powerful motivator for ethical behavior. Atheist ethics, lacking such a belief, emphasize the consequences of actions in this life and the inherent value of ethical behavior itself. In conclusion, both systems have their unique strengths and potential pitfalls. It's important to remember, however, that ethics is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It's a deeply personal construct, shaped by our individual experiences, beliefs, and values. Whether you're religious or atheist, your ethical system is a personal compass, guiding your actions and decisions. It's fascinating to see how differently yet similarly we all navigate the world of ethics. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.